Maddie. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, Mental Health Miss Maddie. If you haven't, here are my Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, all the stuff you need to follow. Today we're going to be going over what to do when you're stressed or signs of stress. And a good way to get a hold of me too, if you have a vlog idea, is ask either on a TikTok or in the chat or somewhere, email me what the link is and you can send me a vlog request idea. And that is currently how I go through them. I have only 45 right now that people have submitted. So it's been fairly easy to just pinpoint which ones work easiest. So I was going to give you some examples of how I know when I'm stressed and then what really helps me. So the first sign I'm getting stressed is I get really grumpy. When I get stressed, I pinpoint everything. I get super grumpy. I turn a little bit snappy. And a good example is when the coronavirus started. I was unaware of what school was going to happen, what was going to happen to school. I am in school for nursing right now, and it was just unknown. And that, to me, that stressed me out, because if you don't know, and I have gone over it, I do have OCD and I like everything planned and I like to know exactly what's happening. I like to be in controlled situations. I like having my whole life planned out. So when this became a thing, it really started stressing me out, and I don't think I handled it as well as I could have. I definitely got a little more snappy at home. Whenever Grace was asking me questions, I was snapping back, firing left and right, and I had to pinpoint, yeah, I was actually really stressed because that meant my job hours were changing, the way school was about to be done was changing, my environment where I was going to be doing schoolwork was going to start being stressful. And so to me, I was just stressing out over something I couldn't control. And I think that happens a lot. I think a lot of us tend to stress out over things we can't control. And what that does, it puts our mental health in the... So that's a sign. When I start getting stressed out, I do start getting snappy. I also stress eat really bad. I really have to watch myself, because when I get super stressed, I stress eat, and my brain tells me I'm hungry, but I'm not, and then I end up getting a stomach ache. But for a lot of people, I think stress eating does happen too, because, it's there, it's available, it's something you're used to, you can put it in your mouth. I've learned that beef jerky for me works really well because it tears on my teeth, and I don't know, it's a good release. So when I'm stressed, I tend to eat a lot of beef jerky, but I also have to remind myself when I'm stressed, eat in portions. Don't overeat, don't binge eat, don't sit at a TV because I'm stressed and just eat while I'm watching TV. I just have to constantly remind myself. So binge eating and getting grumpy. The other thing, when I am super stressed, I have to have everything done a certain way, and if it doesn't get done a certain way, I freak out, and it's something I'm not proud of. But say, I get home and my routine is I let the dogs out, I feed them, I give them water, I let them back out, and then I do whatever I want. And if that doesn't happen right, I snap. And that's not me just trying to control the situation. It's I'm so used to routine, and I'm already stressed, and I'm worried about everything, that I just have to have everything else constant and same. So those are just a couple things that are my signs. Also, when I'm stressed, I don't sleep, and it took me a while to understand that's what was causing it, but I tend to overthink, which I think a bunch of us do. And when I overthink, I wasn't, I'll lay in bed and I'm constantly my mind's just going a mile a minute, and it's trying to decide, planning out worst case scenarios, best case scenarios, least best scenarios, how I'm going to react, when I'm going to react, what I'm doing. And you kind of just got to shut your mind off at that point. Take some water, put some lavender oil on, turn the lights off, play some music, do something to just relax, because I tend to not sleep when I'm super stressed out, because I am human and I do like to overthink, and I think about all the possibilities that something could or could not happen. So that also plays a major effect. I don't do this as much anymore, but in the past, when I was super stressed out, I would work more. And I think for me, that was just a coping skill of hiding what I didn't want to address. I would pick up a ton of hours back to back to back to back, and then I was never home. So I was never dealing with whatever stress I had, and it just felt like a safe place. And then I actually started seeing a therapist, and they kind of brought that to my attention, that, hey, you're working a lot, and it's kind of just a coping mechanism for you, and it's covering what you don't want to address. Yeah, your family's stressing you out. Well, you can't work 24/7 because then they're not going to call you. And, it was just a way for me to cover up and hide different types of things. And then when I'm also stressed, I like to take long car rides, and I think that's when I know like I'm super stressed, is when I'm like finding reasons to go to the store, not necessarily to buy anything, but just to like get in the car. You know, I'll be like, oh, I gotta get this. Or I'll be in the parking lot at Walmart and I'll be like, crap, I forgot it. And then I'm like, I'll come back. So then I drive home, put my stuff up, and then I'm like, yep, I need it, and then I go back. And it's because something about driving to me is very soothing. Even after the wreck, I still find it very soothing. And so those are just like my personal signs. Another thing I have to watch out for is when I do get stressed, I tend to print off calendars 4 or 5 different times and rewrite my schedule till it's perfect. And that usually is when I'm like, okay, I am very stressed. Like, let's call a therapist. Let's start taking things off. Like, let's start identifying where the stress is coming from. And I do really well at that. That's like the sign that I'm like, the red lights are going off and they're like, stop, you know, like, you need to address this. But someone did ask, you know, for the signs, but they also want to know like what helps me. And there's lots of different things that help me. First and foremost, when I'm super stressed, I have this calendar, and it's like my Bible. And when I'm super stressed, I have quotes in it, but I also like to open it, and I don't write anything in this planner or in this thing unless it's like finalized. You know, those silly ones I print off don't mean anything, but this is all finalized, and I go through and I make a final calendar for the month, and then I don't touch it, and I don't question myself, and I don't worry about what the unknown is. Another thing I do is I have kinetic sand, and when I'm super stressed or when I have to confront someone, like let's say someone said something and I'm stressed out because I know I'm going to have to confront them and it's going to stress me out, I'll keep this in my hands throughout the phone call if it's stressful. When I was having to do the conference call on what was going to happen with school, definitely had this in my hand. Why? Because I fidget, and it's just when you're with professionals and you're talking and stuff, it's good to hold like a calm mannerism. So that's why I kept it. I've recently found that when I'm stressed or freaked out over something, bike rides help. I have been going to the park a lot more because of this whole corona thing. I was stressed out because I hate being in the house. I am an extrovert, and bike rides actually worked really well. I mean, I got out of the house, I rode the bike, you know, I got in and out. It just put some music in your headphones, and it was just kind of a nice little stress reliever. Also, this is going to sound super silly, but let's say that someone, family-wise, or just someone's made a nasty comment to me, or someone like the other day started nitpicking my YouTube channel personally, who I thought was a really close friend, and I was stressed out to the max. I know you guys don't know what anatomical position is, but it's when you just stand straight with your palms out. If I lay down on my back and I just like spread my arms out with my palms up and turn a fan on, and then in a dark room, that to me is the most stress relieving thing I think I've ever done. And it's because I'm one of those people that needs to decompress. I need to sit there and I need to just relax, and I look at the ceiling and I just breathe, and then I just reassure myself I'm okay, you know. I actually, in the past years, have gotten so much better with, you know, stress. I used to really stress out over every little thing, and I'd like to say now that I've got everything under control, I work in a mental health place, you know, I've seen all the coping skills, like, I'm pretty good about it. Like, now, when I get stressed, I immediately know. I'm like, I'd say within the past year, you know, I come home stressed, and I'm like, okay, look, I love you, Grace, I'll be back in an hour, I'm gonna go ride my bike. And I come back and I'm like a whole new person, you know? I think decompressing is very important because it gets your mind away, you get time to yourself, you don't have to give any reasons why, because I was finding out that, you know, YouTube, school, work, photos, everything I was doing was just adding up and piling up, and I had to take a step back and find what helped for me. So, but you have to remember, what helps me might not help you, so we have to work as a team. You find what works best for you, I have what works best for me. Another thing that, this is gonna sound so silly, but another thing that like I find super calming is like lavender lotion. And when I tell you, or peppermint, but I have this little necklace I wear, which I need to show you guys eventually. It's a Scentsy necklace, and let's all admit, work for everyone, no matter what your job is, it gets stressful. and I would wear this necklace and I would just smell it, and like to me I'd be like, oh, I'm stressed, I'm fine. Like lavender and peppermint for me like wake me up and put me in like the best mood. So those are just a few of like, I wanted to show my signs of stress because I don't know what yours are, but maybe you can relate to something, or maybe not. You know, as an adult I would like to say it gets better. Work stress is always there, but once you learn to separate work from your home life, the stress, it will help. You know, I have this really hard rule for both Grace and I that once we come in the house, we leave what happened at work. You know, we have like 2 minutes to tell each other how our day was, but like we don't bring it home, because if we bring home work trash, then it comes into the house, and you know, why bring that negativity? So you come home, you decompress for an hour by yourself, or you do what you got to do, and then you're good. So that's just a couple of like this. I think I gave more ways that I identify my stress than I do for my coping, but I think it's because I have a better handle of when I'm getting stressed, so I just know like, hey, I need time to relax, or hey, I need to go on a bike ride or something. So you guys, I love you, stay strong. Remember, it might be a bad day, month, or year, but it is not a bad life. The pain you feel today is not going to be the pain you feel in 5 years. So hang in there. I'm going to give you a slide with all of my info on it. And yeah, I love you guys.